What we have here is a dual shade. The only problem would be that this motorized dual shade, the motor is actually in backwards, so I can't access the programming button and I can't access the charging port. So what we're gonna have to do is remove the end cap and then rotate the motor unit. Now, in this case, there's 2 screws on the top that I'm gonna have to undo before I can access the motor unit. So let's grab a Phillips and let's start there. Come over here, loosen these up. You're gonna see me take them all the way out just so that they don't get lost in the shuffle because they're pretty small, so I don't want them to roll underneath the furniture. Take them there. And then the end cap should slide straight out. Careful not to come out at too steep of an angle. Otherwise you could break the plastic indexing pieces. Kind of gets hung up on, you can see those there. You're gonna wanna make sure those go back in the right spots when you reinstall it. Take the screws, place them on my end cap, and then I can go ahead and rotate the shade. When I rotate the shade, I can now see the bracket that the motor is indexed into. That's a good thing. So let me take a flathead, and I'm going to use the flathead kind of like a wedge. So I'm going to slip the flathead between the motor unit and its bracket. And I'm going to just leverage it a little bit until I can lift the motor. Oh, and lift the motor up. I'm gonna slide it up just enough. Notice I'm not letting the whole roll go, I'm keeping a hold of it. I'm gonna slide the motor out. It might just be out of frame. I'm going to rotate it until I can see the programming button and the charging port. And then I'm going to reinsert it. There you go, that looks good. Careful with the antenna, make sure it's not getting snagged as you put it back in. Okay, a little bit of pressure, lines right back up, make sure it's snug in there. If this bracket here on the end of the cassette does come loose, sometimes you can shim it in there between the cassette and the bracket and it'll make it nice and tight again. So now we'll flip it back over. Come here, grab my screws, take my end cap, get it lined back up. This part can be the trickiest part of the entire tech tip here. Sometimes you'll have to maneuver it a bit. Let me see. This one's a little tricky. There we go. Just had to push on the cassette a bit. And then I can switch back over to my Phillips. Sure I'm going the right way. Get my screws lined up. Back a quarter turn and then tighten. Make sure I don't strip them out. Same thing with the second one. And then don't stop the recording right away. Let me show everybody that now we have access to the charging port. There's a switch on this particular motor, and then I have the programming button right there. Done and done.